U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
Okay. I specifically did not watch this video when I saw it on YouTube because I wanted to watch it with the Hasan reaction. Because I'm like, Deep State, as soon as I saw it, I think it was like 3 hours after it was uploaded, sent it to you. And I'm like, this is going to drive him insane. I'm very, very excited.
Oh. Bro, what?
If this edit is shit, we'll try the other one.
If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to defeat the deep state, vote Trump.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Haji.
I'm having a really hard time wrapping my head around this story, I must admit.
And this concept of deep state has been so, I think...
I want to show people this
Dude, he is so theatrical.
thing from a totally copyrighted movie. So, just go like this. Go like this. You know, it's just funny what they say here. Nothing copywritten going on behind these boxes. Just don't show in like 10 seconds here, because what RuPaul says here is like wicked funny.
Wait, RuPaul's in it?
Yeah, so the premise, so this is right in the beginning of the movie. So the premise is that they're sending her to conversion therapy, right? So the family's having an intervention with her to tell her that she's gay, and they know, and so they're like, you've been looking at girls weird and stuff, you know. And so RuPaul is there to manage the intervention and bring them to the gay conversion camp.
I don't understand how all women aren't gay. It just makes natural sense.
All right, you ready? Okay, hang on. The opening shot in this movie is bad funny because I fucked up. Like, get this out of here. I don't want stats for nerds either. It's just, it like opens with her with a guy just on her face like and she's like got her eyes open. She's like all weirded out, like looking around and stuff, and just like sitting there with her mouth open, like totally detached from what's going on. It's just like, okay, I and my mom was dying because I watched it with her.
Do you remember the woman on TV?
Honey, we think you're a lesbian.
I myself was once a gay. Now I'm an ex-gay, Megan. I work for a place called True Direction.
We have to get that as a sound bite.
That's so funny. Make a mark. I mean, hang on, I'll grab it. I'll make it real quick.
Okay.
Big Dog is so theatrical, man. I mean, I guess if it works, it works. You know what I mean? Like, his videos do bang. Like, they get a shit ton of views. Except I guess his last two videos didn't really do that well. But it's like a Vice style type of thing. Dude, I swear to God, he is like sober Vice.
You mean Vox?
Basically sober Vice.
That's Vox. Vox is sober Vice.
You count Andy, my man Johnny? No. I think he's a very successful content creator. I thought that his content was like even more banging, even more popping than it actually is. But it's like he behaves like if everyone at Vice was like not allowed to drink caffeine, like sodas, caffeinated cold sodas.
Poisoned by politics and Trump sort of using it for everything that he doesn't like, and it kind of makes it hard to approach it earnestly. But I think we have to keep digging. Like, I think there's something here.
Is the deep state real?
Is the deep state real?
Let's fucking go.
This video was good, don't worry. No, sometimes he does do good videos. Like, his last two videos were all right too, about like international arms trafficking. It was all right. But it's just like everything that he's introducing, he acts like he's
Hasan. He's normie news. You fool. It's for normies. It's for people who don't know. He's an algorithm queen. That's all these are. He is a trending queen. All it is. How do you not realize this? You have been on these platforms for long enough that you should understand this. High production, high value, high views, high cost. It's everything. How do you not get this? I guess it's because you get your fans to edit your fucking videos for you.
Arriving at this like unspoken truth when it's like pretty basic fundamental stuff, and he'll leave like a couple he'll literally leave in like an outtake where he's like, yeah, this is like, really
doofus
right now. Actually, like finding out about this thing for the first time ever is like really difficult to wrap my brain around. You know what I mean? Like, I was watching this Twitch streamer at the top of the hour. He served a 3-minute ad break, and it turns out he has a contract with Amazon, and that contract dictates that he serve you a 3-minute ad break. But at least he tells you that you can avoid those ads by subscribing for $5 or for free. And then the other guy on the Zoom call is like, yeah, it's really fucked up, man. I had to use one of my friend's Amazon Prime accounts to connect it to a Twitch account so that I could get 1 free Prime subscription a month, you know, and use it on him for the duration of this research. And he's like, wow. Well, I've also heard that like, you know, if people are lucky enough, they can get gifted a sub by, you know, 34 MKD50 or Speed Razor. Thank you for the 10 gifted. 34 MKD50. Thank you for the 50 gifted. Nah, man, that's storytelling to inform the viewer that don't know the basic information in a compelling way. No, I get it. It's just like such, it's very corny, I think. The alt tab.
Oh my god, it's purposefully that
There's this moment in the 60s.
Yeah. He does act like he's David Attenborough stumbling upon a rare bird. A rare bird.
Where you really like see how this actually works, like where power really is. To the height of this moment where the U.S. and the Soviet Union are in this like massive staring contest.
Johnny
nuclear
Harris's
weapons.
videos are always a great watch. Whether the information is good or not, you are always entertained. That is the entire essence of his videos. They've there's a fucking word for it that I'm forgetting. But it's a fusion of media and entertainment. It's dangerous, but it's useful to get normies into like politics and understanding shit, at least like getting used to looking into it. I think I would, if people that I spoke to were not political, wanted some information that wasn't too deep about a topic, and it turned out that Johnny Harris made a video about it, I would fucking send it to them. It would be a great introduction video. And then maybe like a TLDR video or something, you know, videos like that. Just send them just gradually more increasingly complicated things, and as they continue to understand, you build their understanding, and then eventually they will have enough information on hand that they won't need your help to look for stuff anymore. That's the whole purpose of media literacy. Like, watch a video on it. It might help you, actually. There you go. A 5th gen recommendation. Look up fucking media literacy and fucking educate yourself. Make yourself media literate. Maybe you might have some better takes then. Who knows?
Involved. Everyone thinks the entire globe could be wiped out in this conflict. And Cuba is centered right in the middle of it all, right off the coast of the U.S., but they're on the Soviet side of the conflict. The U.S. at this point wants nothing more than to snatch Cuba, to make it their own. And they've been trying to kill Fidel Castro a million different ways. They're looking for an excuse to invade. And to push back on all of this, the Soviets actually start shipping nuclear weapons to the island. The U.S. has no idea until one day a spy plane is flying over the island and they snap this
crowd engaged as well. It's quick.
I mean, it doesn't look like a wild photo; it just looks like a random field in Cuba. But you zoom in and you see canvas tents, trailers, missile launch equipment. And the U.S. government immediately knows what they're looking at here. The world's most destructive weapons are actually hiding under these tents, ready to launch, sitting right in the United States' backyard, right off their coast. Nuclear war.
There is perhaps something to be said about how hilarious it is that Johnny Harris is doing a video about the deep state, a term that literally was coined in Turkish politics as a consequence of both like the initial inception of it, but then as a consequence of the NATO Gladio operations that took place in Turkey. Deep state, derin devlet, is literally the etymology of the word. That's where it comes from. It still exists in Turkey. We call it a parallel government, things of that nature.
Cool.
However, this term was originally coined in Turkey. Why is Turkey important? Not because Mexicans are Turks or everyone is Turkish, the world is Turkish, yada, yada, yada. Not a joke. Because the reason why the Cuban Missile Crisis happened, the reason why the Cuban Missile Crisis happened is a direct consequence of literally the inception of the term derin devlet, deep state. NATO involvement in Turkey, NATO coming into Turkey, making Turkey a NATO ally, and building missile systems directly pointing at the USSR.
Look, man, making Turkey a NATO member was a mistake. They never should have done it. So, I agree with you. Revoke Turkey's NATO membership. Take the missiles away.
missile silos, missile sites being built in Cuba was a direct response. So, I'm sorry, but like,
no, you're not.
Come on, I mean, because I'm Turkish, it's a little bit. I guess it pricks me in the wrong way a little bit more than it normally should. But it does show like a severe lack of understanding.
Watch this have absolutely nothing to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Johnny Harris just used this as an example of the deep state working, and this whole tangent has been a complete waste of fucking time.
Standing on even the introduction. Like, even in the introduction of the story itself, like, at least bring up the fact that, like, why did the fucking missiles make it there?
Come on, play the video. Come on, my man. Come on.
If he had subscribed at the top of the hour, he would have fucking...
I'm going to the other video because I have a feeling it might be a bit better edited.
Like, we used to be a country. We used to... Ruined it. That is like how do you...
That's a really difficult decision to make.
This is a song I found out.
Here we go.
Talked about deep state.
103 miles away.
Within the past week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites...
I thought you used to say that the deep state doesn't exist because it implies the state is in conflict with itself, which is not. No, I'm not talking about it with Turkey. Yes, the deep state is oftentimes...
we'll see what Johnny Harris thinks the deep state is, because there's so first of all, what I think this is going to be, my prediction, United Fruit Company. Okay, that's my first prediction.
That's a good prediction. That's a good prediction.
My second prediction will be
CIA.
just the CIA and how they like have exerted the law, and then from there you could say there's like a deep state that exists, like ADL is a deep state that exists. The Dominionists are a state that exists. Seven Mountain Mandate people, they're totally in existence. MAGA is a deep state now that exists. You know, it's really the Republican side is a little bit more interesting because it has more of the public involved.
Yeah.
When the Democrats, you can't really name like certain like groups that are definitely involved with these types of things besides like, oh, this person does stock buybacks, you know, and helps those companies.
United States of America, then yeah, you have capitalists, and then you have, I guess, some more capitalists. I guess that could be the deep state.
Is now in preparation on that imprisoned island.
It's a crisis. A Cuban missile crisis.
Okay.
And one man in Washington, D.C. suddenly has a really difficult decision to make. Everyone around him wants him to invade Cuba, but he's not sure. Okay, but here's the kicker of the whole thing. Instead of stay at work that night and like figure out this crisis with his advisors, Kennedy gets in a car and travels across town to like a cocktail party. He came here to a house in Georgetown, the home of Joe Al.
What?
I said yeah, because he rules. He went to go drink instead. Okay, here we go. Ready? No,
you have no idea what you're talking about. It's just so embarrassing. At least have some humility.
No. It's the wrong one.
Oh, you uploaded the wrong one.
Yes.
Name them then.
I can't unless I edit them off for like resolve. I can rename them if I want to, but it would just
rename them in the list.
No, I just didn't download it to my computer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Now it's there.
Oh, you were editing the soundbite. That's why you went.
Yeah, I just do it on my phone.
Yep.
It was the
and then I use a convert to MP3 on my phone. I just but the thing is they all are like, you used your free one for today, so I had to find one that would work.
And the president of the United States kept his dinner date in Georgetown. And the reason
I myself was once a gay. Now I'm an ex-gay.
It's too bad the music is too like chimey.
Yeah.
I tried to pull. I'm trying to see. I think I was trying to pull the music out, but with the software that I have, I think it's pulling the voice more, and it's seeing that the music is a higher pitch and detecting those notes.
You might have to do it in Resolve.
And it hit the distortion on it. So I think if I remember to do it in Resolve, it's on my drive at least. I should upload a blank version as well.
Why is because at that party were the people he trusted, the people who really had power in Washington during that time. Most of them lived here in this neighborhood, many of them side by side, all within a few blocks.
Yeah.
William Colby, the Far East chief of the CIA, who would later become the director of the agency.
Damn, docs.
Bolin, a former ambassador to the Soviet Union. Alan Dulles, who...
Yeah, back when dudes named Chip could be hired. You know what I mean? Back when they
Fuck
made it like
Alan
that,
Dulles.
Prime.
What a cunt.
Alan Dulles, where to even start. He's the CIA's longest running director, and he lived right here in Georgetown. Frank Wiesner, one of the founding officers of the CIA.
Isn't
lived
he
just
the
6
one
blocks
that
away.
did
Felix Frankfurt?
The Bay of Pigs? Isn't that him? Dulles?
Yeah, so that's why I said that's why I think this is going to be about the United Fruit stuff.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something.
Pigs.
Yeah.
Or a Supreme Court justice.
I mean, during the time of Dulles and the OSSCIA, yeah, there was a deep state, but not like that shit any longer. Yeah, I think there's more so like sometimes a little bit of a divergence in attitude within the State Department. There's like parties that want to nuke Iran immediately, and then there's parties that want to destabilize Iran and implement regime change.
Yes,
and of course,
I agree. I agree with this 100%.
That is the major, like
there's
major
forces
divergence
pulling at
in
each other, and what we need to acknowledge about these forces that pull at each other that want, because everyone is going for their own interest, right? So these forces and these lobbies get together and then group within their interest groups, right? Those groups, right? Part of that. So like the Bush admin is connected to the Reagan admin, right? And we're talking about senior Bush, like he is the CIA director, right?
Yeah.
And then you connect that into the Bush admin that goes in under Junior, right? All of them Iraq war hawks who wanted war with Iraq.
How curious.
Right? So it's like so not only did they have these, they were suggesting war in Iraq before 9/11.
Seriously.
We have it. Yeah. We have everything.
Hilarious.
We have everything. Welcome to America. We could just get fucking whatever. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing. Nixon even tried to do secret shit, and somehow they got it on fucking tape. Like, come on. You can't hide shit from the American people that well. It's very difficult. That's why it's like, like who killed Epstein? Are we going to ever find out who specifically did it? Probably not.
That'll be a pretty interesting secret to keep.
So by the way, I looked at some more additional details with this Boeing assassination, right? Because we said it happened in a hotel. And immediately I thought of Navalny. Like, you see the agents literally breaking into Navalny's hotel room, like on CCTV. And I said, there is no way. Because hotels all have CCTV and somebody would have heard the shot. It was like in a parking structure, right?
Yeah.
In his car.
So there has to be CCTV. There has to be.
How many people were around, right? And that's the thing is, you have to think about this is like, so I was saying this is like as far as like assassinations go, like Iran has really good assassins. Mossad has really good assassins, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is about the Russians, I really think the whole point of them using their assassins is they want to be caught.
Yeah, it's a statement.
Yeah, it's a power.
It's more of a statement for Russia because they rule by fear.
So if like, like if somebody can pull this off, where it's like everyone knows that this is a fucking like not a suicide, right? It's just like you can't prove it necessarily, but it's an Epstein thing, right? The level of assassin to do something like that and leave no trace.
Yeah. It's pretty
and
wild.
like there might have been a note. It was vague. It said that like there was a white paper, like he was gonna write a note or something. Or something was left behind, and a silver handgun is what they said.
Yeah.
Could mean anything.
Yeah.
And also,
does that make sense? Nowadays, at least, it's not.
Depends on the bullet trajectory where it was going, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if they like anything, like, it's just to be able to get a successful shot like that, walking up to somebody who's already on the lookout and paranoid of assassins and telling people that I might get assassinated,
Yeah.
Like,
it's pretty crazy.
Could have been somebody.
But what reason would he have to kill himself? That's the other thing.
Oh, he didn't.
Exactly. So it's like there's 100% something going on here, and there has to be footage somewhere. Like there can't be many places in America, especially around a parking garage.
I don't know if it was on
cameras.
I'm trying to think. We might have watched something on it itself, but it might have been even John Oliver. I'm not sure, but he was just what the guy's details were. It was probably Sam Cedars who is who I saw explaining it, or Pod Save America. One of those guys normally tend to be in depth. Are you talking about Navalny or the Boeing guy or someone else? I mean, it's just my point with Navalny is that Russia wants to get caught. I think that like when we're talking about assassins and stuff, like, it's not something you can just do whenever you want. And especially on somebody this hot, like a target this hot, like the amount of money and connections you would need to get an assassin on this level is like insane.
It's a lot of money. Guess who has money? Boeing. Wonder how
I don't
much
know.
the Boeing
Honestly, I don't.
CEO
The thing is their money's traceable, right? They're going to see that
Mm.
payment go out.
True. Maybe one of them has crypto.
Not like it's not the way where it's like the American president is like directly at odds with something that the CIA wants to do. We got to do something about it. I don't think it works that way. I mean, there's no divergence within the there's no disagreement within the Democratic.
Boeing CEO makes $23 million a year.
Yeah, so they were literally like told him not to leave a paper trail. Like it because the guy was like a quality control supervisor. And they said, yeah, make sure you report directly in person instead of email.
Interesting.
And so he retired and then he came forward and talked about all this shit.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That guy, the Boeing CEO, makes $500,000 a week. Epic. That's really cool. That's great.
The coups, dude. You had, and I will never forget this, Chris Murphy, that son of a bitch. Okay, Senate Foreign Affairs, or is he Senate Intelligence?
$500,000 a
Chris
week.
Murphy coming out and openly writing the words on Twitter. We tried to do a bit of a soft coup in Venezuela, and Donald Trump ruined it. That is like how can you write that? Like, we used to be a country. We used to lie about those things. When we used to do those things, we would lie about it, only to declassify it 40 years later. You know what I mean? Like, now we're openly tweeting it as it's happening and failing. What the hell happened? Have some shame. Have some decency, Chris Murphy, you son of a bitch.
A couple minutes walk away. And Kennedy himself had a house in this neighborhood.
His day-to-day work schedule is sitting on his fucking ass doing nothing. That's what
his day-to-day work schedule. I'll show you. No. I have exclusive. I'm
excited.
I got him in his office right here. You can actually see his computer screen in this, right? And this is a close-up of his computer screen. This is evidence that's totally in the case that they found. You're gonna be mind blown when you see this.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, here it is. One of the many reasons why I shit on Connecticut. Then it got real embarrassing. On April 2019, we tried to organize.
Hasan, you're supposed to be watching a video. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real place.
It was a soft coup. I think it's a Berenstein Bears moment
at this point.
That I remember it as like
Shut
a soft coup.
Shut up!
Like,
Shut up!
And at this point, they'd become drunk on the worst kind of power, the secret sort of power that corrupts, the kind of power that our founders sought to check and balance with all of their founding documents. But here in Georgetown, it had moved beyond anything the designers of the country could have predicted, into a shadowy, separate part of our government, a deep state that was actively blackmailing the Congress.
Sean's in the deep state.
No, my family is. I've told you this. Like, my fucking aunt, worked in, the fucking Balkans for the fucking feds.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Deep state. CIA.
North Macedonia. She was in North Macedonia before it was in NATO.
Cool.
Doing operations there.
PsyOps? You don't know?
No. Like intelligence agency stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Spy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, you want to build a wall? Okay, well, now I want to build a pit.
And then a lot of my family
has your wall. We've moved on to the wall.
Worked or is working at the Pentagon. So I have my aunt, she's from Cuba, so she had got a job with the Pentagon for translations and stuff. So all her sons also knew Spanish too. So they also get jobs that will pay well and pay for their schooling, and then they can basically go do whatever they want.
Interesting.
And then yeah.
Handy. Connections.
Mm-hmm.
A pit.
and working to undermine the president of the United States and being horrifyingly successful at it.
Unelected deep state operatives who divide the voters to push their own secret agendas.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
As far as I know, we don't engage in assassinations and kidnappings and things of that kind. I do think there have to be serious questions raised.
Yeah, I would agree that. Oh, hang on.
Over the last
as far as you know, we don't do assassinations and kidnappings. I'll say this right now: the guy killed at Boeing. I don't think the government did it. I think the government is really going to go after Boeing. I think this is like a private, corporate, because obviously they hire corporate blackmail, corporate espionage. There's got to be like some sort of
corporate assassins.
Yeah, corporate group that's like an offshoot of that specializes in like whatever.
There has to be, right? And it's just because it's Boeing that this has come to light. I bet it happens a lot. And you.
Well, in like RoboCop, right?
Mm.
You know that one scene?
Which one?
Oh, where they fucking.
The next scene?
Well, because he's like, here, you kick my face at the top. They're peeing together.
Mm.
And then later he kills that guy.
Yeah.
Fucking
What
Beetle.
about him?
Oh, I'm just saying that's what it's like. You take him out, fight to the top, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be though. There has to be. There's no way there isn't. The amount of money in corporate, there's no fucking.
Well, also, who knows? Maybe there's traces everywhere, and it's super sloppy. Maybe it's not undetectable. Maybe the person's on camera, and it's literally somebody from Boeing, and they get even more tied up in it.
That would be hilarious.
Who knows?
Imagine if it's just the sloppiest shit they've ever seen, and they're not saying anything because they have it. That'd be epic.
Ro Khanna, my goat. Just the most impossible to decipher politician in the United States of America. Just, you'll never know. He always keeps you guessing, okay? He's awesome. A true enigma, yes. A mystery wrapped inside of a riddle. You will never understand why Ro Khanna is doing anything, as a matter of fact. Sometimes he'll be like, actually, I think the Maoist Third Worldists have a good idea on, the unethical extraction of natural resources. And the next day he's like, we should allow tech companies to be able to execute people that are in their workforce. If you code for a tech company, Mark Zuckerberg can kill you after your wife and friend is.
Is to continue the work of government as administrations come and go. Is it possible for these entities to go rogue? Absolutely.
Was the agency involved in the kind of domestic surveillance that has been portrayed in the news reports?
I'm not supposed to have a
friend.
I'm not supposed to have a friend. Well, one of the things that this guy reported is that he reported it was basically a bent tube of some kind. Bro, they had one of the things he was reporting on is that they had fucking metal shavings all over the electronics internals. They didn't clean up the fucking shavings.
The internals.
Yeah.
Epic. That's awesome. Did you see the one I sent you earlier that a panel fell off and forced an emergency landing?
No, that happened a while ago. We reported on it.
No. New one.
Oh, a new one. Okay. Well,
yeah, literally an underside panel.
Well, look,
fell the fuck off the plane. Yeah, crazy.
They got to ground this entire company.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I ban stock buybacks.
Yeah, I shared it on Instagram. I'm like, at this point, if car companies can do callbacks and recalls, Boeing has to at this point. This many things going wrong this quickly, you have to recall the fleet.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they would divest and just spin off the civilian side and basically sell it to another company.
Yeah, then they would
because it's going to be the cost that they'll have to take on for this instead of a company just buying them out.
Yeah, and that's why you ban the stock buybacks, because then they can't buy themselves out of it. Fuck them, let them drown. You if a company fails, let them fucking fail. Stop saving them.
Failing is one thing. Negligent mass homicide.
Yes.
In multiple countries.
Yeah, true.
Is another thing.
Take them to the ICJ.
Honestly, that would be sick.
That would be so cool.
That would be fucking awesome. That a corporation being taken to the International Criminal Court. Is that possible?
That'd be epic. I don't know. Look it up.
The Supreme Court would basically be like, we rule that you can't do that. Just like how they rule that the Ghanan people can't get fucking compensation for the oil damage.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, he's got his...
I'm doing this. The deep state. Is the deep state real? And if so, what is it? Before we do that, I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsor. NordVPN is a longtime sponsor of our channel. Most people use track makes
The guy put a time code on when to skip to for the ad.
Did he actually?
Thank you,
Yeah,
NordVPN.
red box pop.
What a legend. What a legend.
Okay, if you can hear
want this. I'll chuck him a like for that one.
Who you are and what you do and what your relationship to this topic of the history of the CIA is.
Yeah, so my name's Jefferson Morley. I'm a journalist in Washington. I've been a journalist in Washington for the last 40 years.
In the old days, spy agencies were a war thing. When the U.S. was at war...
Why is he lighting them like it's a secret?
I don't know.
He's like, yeah,
when he's like being like, this is who I am.
John Boy. That's like an office thing. They don't know this.
Set up an international spy operation to best wage that war. And then when the war was over, they would pare down...
Yes, make stock buybacks illegal. Make the fine more than their stock is worth per stock.
I think Johnny Harris that's not what the CIA was designed for. It was not designed to fight an intelligence war. That's not what it was. It was designed to get a clear picture of what was going on inside the Soviet Union, and they never did.
No.
At the same time, they did do experiments on people. Like they fucking, bro. It's like, imagine like going in for like being like, oh, I'll try out some experimental like weight loss drug or something, and then they fucking put sarin on you.
Yeah, epic.
And they're testing how much it can be, right? And which means that they killed somebody at some point.
Oh, they definitely did, yeah.
With sarin, one person just disappeared from sarin because they were like, well, that's how much it takes to kill. And that's how much we can't use an antidote on.
Yep. And
it's like
we'll never know because all those files were fucking
that's
destroyed.
like the fucking Japanese camps cutting people open while they're alive to just look on organs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I recently found out the MK Ultra files were all destroyed.
No, there's some.
Well,
there's
yeah, not all of them, but like the paper ones, gone, destroyed. They're gone. They're never gonna know. Never, which is wild because I want to know.
MK Ultra was pretty unproductive. That's the thing. That's just a waste of fucking money.
No, I know, but I want to know. I just want to know. I want to know.
These people got so obsessed with things that they're like they thought they was like so obsessed with being not able to penetrate the Soviets. They couldn't think to themselves the Soviets couldn't also penetrate us.
Yeah.
Even though we were way more open, so it'd definitely be easier. So they're going nuts. You know, it's like the fucking Havana syndrome, right? That they think is a direct energy weapon.
Okay.
You know about
Havana
this?
syndrome? No.
Okay.
Sips drink.
I want to say someone on Rising or something that they had on. Yeah, one of the new people they have on Rising used to be CIA and claimed she was affected with it. But in Cuba, the CIA base, everyone was like getting headaches or something.
Okay.
And so like the CIA ran with this. This is such classic CIA and shows how fucking worthless they are. They ran with this forever, being like, what is this? What is this? They said they think it's like a direct energy weapon. Nothing. Mass hysteria, just like when cops faint with fentanyl.
Epic. That's awesome. Fucking mass hysteria. That's awesome.
It's the CIA, dude. They're so worthless.
Or totally get rid of the spy agency. The thinking here was that a spy agency took up a lot of resources and...
That's a cool ass sweater. Dude, he is swagged out now. He is a swagged out form.
Worth it during war, not worth it during peace. But then the biggest war of them all came to America's Pacific doorstep, and it changed everything.
And so Roosevelt now has more of a license to do what he wants. And one of the first things he does is consult with a man named Bill Donovan.
Wild Bill, a corporate Wall Street lawyer who was obsessed with the power of intelligence.
This is the Wikipedia for it. So it says causes not determined, differential diagnosis, and like it's literally epidemic hysteria, mass hysteria.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
And had very strong opinions, and he said, you need a wartime intelligence service. You're going to war.
Wild Bill Donovan would be in charge of the Office of Strategic Services, or OSS.
This is another way that you know that like we're kind of washed now. Like we used to have shit like this, like Wild Bill Donovan. The last version of this was in the Iraq War. You got like dudes named Spider and shit being generals. Nowadays we don't have that.
For black.
This is what conservatives mean when they say the CIA is now woke and gay. Okay, everyone's got like imposter syndrome at the CIA. They don't got them mad dogs no more. Okay, We have Mad Dog Mattis. I mean, barely. This is what I'm saying. They're on the way out. It's over. Spider is a recent general too. That's what I'm saying. Like the Iraq War and Afghanistan is like the last version of these guys. Now they're gone. Not everyone in CIA is bisexual.
Centralized intelligence agency that would be given immense power to do
bombs away. LeMay was a genocidal freak with a sick ass nickname.
Whatever it took to keep our people safe and to keep our team on top. This was the birth of modern intelligence, a euphemism for spying and lying and cheating and deceiving and sneaking and
Not
breaking,
modern.
coercing, dividing, and conquering. No idea was too crazy for the OSS during this time. Like one OSS psychologist had this idea that Hitler could be demoralized if they just showed him a vast quantity of porn.
Paramilitary operations.
Strapping explosives to a bunch of bats and letting them loose over Tokyo.
Guys skiing into Nazi-occupied Norway.
Making fake companies, recruiting off Wall Street from all of his old colleagues, bringing in bankers and movie directors, fake radio stations, anything to demoralize, divide, or confuse the enemy.
The OSS is the first intelligence agency.
You know, where the CIA is good,
what?
right? So, like, for example, when they're working with people to like make insurgent tactics, like the sea drones that they helped develop and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And then also in Afghanistan, they basically went into Afghanistan and like taught the people how to use the Stinger systems and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's why Amos Haqqani, I think that quote is dope, where he's like, who taught them how to make these car bombs?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's such a baller quote, being like, what if we're violent? Who taught us?
Wild Bill's favorite things to do was to have parties at his house.
Are we the first ones here?
It's a big night.
Reefer Madness
operations with his friends in Georgetown, a neighborhood in Washington, D.C. that is strikingly beautiful. Here is Bill Donovan's house. It's now worth $17 million. It's beautiful. And this is where he would have a drink and chat with other Washington power brokers. He would recruit new agents.
It's a good thing we were like, okay, that was wartime. Post-World War II, they're like, let's just stop doing all of that. And certainly not do it domestically to our own people and also globally, because we have a global connection now within the OSS specifically. And that's where the story ends.
Globally.
So, yeah, end of the video. Okay.
Union.
Nothing to look at further here. Okay. This is how it worked. The end.
From American high society, earning the agency the nickname Oh So Social. Pretty clever. Okay, but remember that spy agencies like this were a war thing only, and the war ended in 1945, and the OSS got dissolved.
The forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations.
What do we do with the OSS now that we're at peace? And Truman says, we don't want to risk having an American Gestapo.
A political police.
His meaning, especially in the context of having just defeated the Nazis, was, that's what led our enemy astray. They had a secret intelligence agency, the Gestapo, which wound up enforcing political norms and enforcing tyranny, and we don't want to risk that.
Here's Harry Truman doing the right thing and signing a piece of paper that says that the OSS can no
now
longer
Hasan is going to freak out, right?
He's like, this was really great.
Saying, but they do like, but come on, they're not like doing it like the Gestapo, bro.
No,
like, yes, they have done experiments on American people, which should be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like the Gestapo.
No.
But this is way too much power in the hands of unelected officials holding secret information. But it was kind of too late. Putting the genie back in the bottle would prove to be...
Well, I mean, the CIA caused 9/11. Literally not sharing intelligence with the FBI caused 9/11.
John said it here. CIA did 9/11.
No, it's true. I mean, I've been in Michael Schuer's house. He used to live not that far away, right? Well, I went to his house. We faked our credentials, said we were Discovery because this guy, basically, they fired him because he caused 9/11. Not kidding, right? So they fired him from Alex Station, right? And then we started looking up a lot of stuff, and basically an idea started floating around that he was married to the woman who, tortured Abu Zubaydah.
Okay.
The agent, so this comes from some of the reports we have from 9/11 looking into it. So basically what happens is Michael, he doesn't want to share intelligence across the platform between people, but also he's fraternizing with his colleague when there's an attack incoming and being more focused on her than the incoming attack. Right?
Good
so she gets to stay. He basically gets ceremonial fired. He's also the reason we have missiles on drones. Don't forget that either.
Really?
Michael is 100% the reason. We have video of bin Laden. We literally have a drone video of him. And Michael said, we should put missiles on this. We would have been able to kill him. So we did. And that was before 9/11. It was literally Michael's job to make sure al-Qaeda didn't attack the United States. He had intelligence.
Oh, really?
And he didn't share it with the FBI. It's his fault, 100%. If anyone's to blame, it's him. Now, I went to his house, faked discovery credentials, because you can, like, the dude is literally QAnon now and called for the assassination of President Obama. He's a crackpot. All CIA is like this, right? They're all crackpots. So we faked credentials to be discovery, and we went there because he's a media whore, because that's all the CIA guys do after CIA consulting and all those interviews. Anything about bin Laden, he's in there. Any History Channel documentary you look up, there's Michael in there, right? And so we started asking him questions, and then we started being like, do you feel responsible for 9/11? And he did not like that. and then as he's calling the police and we're like getting the hell out, I'm asking him questions about his wife, who is like not a doxed agent at this point. And we didn't know exactly what her name was.
Oh.
Just be like,
Interesting.
Is your wife still at the department? Is she running the station now?
Did I bet he really didn't like that one.
No.
Doing real journalism.
I bet he checked. He literally moved after that, bro. He literally moved to Boca Raton.
That is hilarious. That's so funny. That's
a former intelligence agency. You literally fucking printed credentials off a fucking computer in a fucking lab, bro. Are you fucking kidding me? A lamination machine is all it fucking takes to get this inside the CIA like that. Fuck yeah,
all these guys live 4 blocks from each other in Georgetown.
Yeah, it's very significant because they're the product of this wartime culture.
And that means, like, his wife also caused the Iraq War, because that's who's doing the torturing, is the Alex Station people. Like, they were the al-Qaeda unit.
When the Cold War didn't exist, we were at peace. But then, almost immediately, tension
started recordings in the interview. I wasn't. It was part of a different company.
But we're now skeptical of each other, and senators were suddenly declaring that it was impossible to know where war begins and where it ends.
The Soviet Union and its agents have destroyed the independence
and
democratic character of a whole series of nations in Eastern and Central Europe.
This is when all the intel people that had run the OSS, many of them who lived in Georgetown,
maybe they
one of the funniest aspects of like the inception of the Cold War.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Virtually every American
over a decade ago
and politician openly being like, we actually killed the wrong enemies. The real enemy was much larger. They're called communists, and we have to kill them. We have to kill them dead all the time. We have to kill the communists in the country. Like, literally.
Plus, there's tons of stuff of people harassing them.
It wasn't like a oh man, these
oh my god, there's so many people
they're real scary. I think we gotta liberate Eastern Europe. Like, that wasn't the perspective at all. Not even a little bit.
For the resurrection,
especially after Glenn Greenwald.
Centralized intelligence agent.
Oh, really? What did Glenn Greenwald do?
Doxed his wife.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, who was it?
It's like Alfreda Burkowski, whatever, but it's Alfreda. It's like Alfreda Schur now, but I forgot her first name. But she left the agency and basically did like an advice mommy thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, a consultation. I'll get your life on track. I'm a life coach, and it's like, you literally tortured people.
That we can use to fight this new global war with the Soviet Union. But no.
Yeah, especially considering that like our capital owners already were very distasteful towards trade unionists and socialists and communists alike. It's not like there wasn't communism in this country before World War II. As a matter of fact, there was probably more communism in this country before World War II than there is now, if you think about it. And the 60s the Cold War basically put an end to, ran for president.
The Constitution wasn't designed for us to put so much power in the hands of men who are doing secret things. Doing this will result in a police state run by power-grabbing bureaucrats.
What's America in at the moment?
I'm literally just type in Michael Schur asked about responsibility of 9/11. That's the thing. This dude's such a media whore.
A lot of shit.
Power to military leaders and their insatiable appetite for more money, for more men, and more power, whatever the cost of it.
Truman's mind either. And what changed Truman's mind was...
Yeah, Glenn Greenwald does have a strange history.
Soon the papers were signed,
and
a new agency was formed. The Central...
You see, he just had to do it to him.
Yeah, because literally he's fucking got that shit from an intelligence agency. Telling you right now.
Truman signs the National Security Act. He says we have to be careful that we don't have an American Gestapo. So that thought is still on his mind.
The CIA was the big shiny new weapon of the United States in the Cold War, and their mission was to, quote, gain and distribute intelligence and
to perform, quote, other functions and duties related to intelligence affecting national security.
What does that mean?
Everybody knew what that language meant. Everybody knew that.
Especially if the
weren't going to talk
QAnon
about it because
shit.
we didn't want to
But,
write
like,
it down on
early
paper.
days finding shit harassing him because most of the stuff you would write, you would fucking record it on tape and then write the articles off of the tape.
Yeah, that's how I would do it too.
Yeah, and I'm never a writer, so I get the
right.
tape and I fucking pass it to whoever
to someone else to write.
Yeah, you know, like it.
Like me with the news.
Like me knowing who fucking ordered the burger that I cooked.
They go to town.
You must stir the ingredients of your chocolate cake.
January 2014.
Bro, put a Frank Herbert
Where is it? Okay.
quote in there. Respect for the truth comes close to being the basis for all morality. This is profound thinking if you understand how unstable the truth can be.
Operation Paperclip, 1945 to 1959. Americans wanted to get those Nazi rocket scientists on their side so that they could develop their own rocket capacity. James Angleton, for example, protects a general under Hitler.
CIA. There ain't no way he's gonna talk about Gladio, Operation Gladio. There ain't no way. Like, so Paperclip is like the known. The thing that Johnny Harris does is he will always cover stuff that like the American government cops do, but will rarely ever cover the other stuff that is in my opinion, more nefarious and significantly more important because it establishes the basis.
Yep, and it's also the stuff that all the tankies like to talk about. And I bet you he looks into it and half the shit isn't true. And that's why he doesn't talk about it.
In an identical fashion, mind you, to what they're doing with
mentioned
Paperclip.
Michael in
In
this
an identical
article
fashion
that I found.
to Paperclip, where the U.S. established bases of the NATO alliance.
Gets involved in the Italian
elections, 1948. Islam on the Italian democracy to make sure that U.S. allies win.
Operation Ajax, coup in Iran, 1953.
The CIA and the MI6
So
organized.
it's so funny that Milan will get stories like this.
We encourage the Shah to take that action. I will not deny.
CIA coup Guatemala, 1954. Bananas, of course, bananas.
Again, Democratic
Chiquita bananas!
wanted to engage in land reform in the CIA.
Bananas!
Those really at the behest of the United Fruit Company.
CIA is now helping American corporations.
The influence of American corporations on the CIA actions is unmistakable. Alan Dulles is on the board of directors. Howard Hunt, Birch O'Neill, David Phillips, CIA coup in Congo.
Did you know there's KFC in Saudi Arabia?
Wait, hold on. Why is this ex-CIA guy saying there was a CIA?
Did you know this?
What?
There's KFC in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, KFC is huge in the Middle East.
That's fucking wicked. I had no idea.
Yeah. Have you seen the
Saudi girl that I'm talking
KFC?
to? No, I haven't. But the Saudi girl I was talking to her about food, and I'm like, the fucking zinger is like the best fucking KFC option in the world. And she's like, we have one in Saudi Arabia. I'm like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah,
like, I need to
they're
go to
huge,
Saudi Arabia exclusively just to try the Saudi zinger burger.
So, I'm not sure.
I would.
But I think I'm not. It's so hard to remember, but like from what I've tried typing in and researching, I think this article from 2011. This is when it started being like connected to Michael that his wife is the lady who fucking tortured these people. And so like this is like a 2011 story where they start questioning some of the stuff that have been learned, right? So it's talking about documentaries and stuff, but it's Salon.com, which is funny, because Salon.com will every now and then get these types of articles that are like hilarious. So fringe, but end up being like totally correct about shit.
It's funny because most of their articles are hot garbage.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a reason they don't exist anymore.
Well, also, I mean, there's also like a McDonald's and stuff. What's funny is just like I want to say. I think it's what's his name, Mozambique. He's like the Cage, the UK anti-Guantanamo people. I want to say he said the first time he had a McDonald's cheeseburger or an American cheeseburger was in Guantanamo.
Oh my god!
Because ultimately. The issue with Guantanamo isn't that there was like torture and shit going on there. Like the force feedings are bad, obviously, but when it comes to Guantanamo, the issue is that these people were kept there without charge and then we're innocent, right?
Yes.
And we had no right. So
it wasn't U.S. soil though, was it? So they couldn't technically.
No, I think it is. We technically own the land, or we might be renting it. We might be renting it, but yeah,
it could be a
but
technicality.
that's why the CIA did it there. That was the loophole. But also remember, before Guantanamo, Alex Station were the ones that set up like Cobalt and all these fucking and they had Polish guys who weren't CIA in the Polish detainment facility. Huh?
They're the black sites, right?
Yeah. So the Polish black site, right? Which some of the European ones came forward and basically like actually I think they literally granted Abu Zubaydah money because of the torture that occurred in their country on him. Yeah, he can't access it because he's in Guantanamo and he will never be released. But they fucking they outsourced stuff there, right? Because like the Alex station is really, really small. It's not like the CIA is huge, and these are like top people, top analysts. And so like what's also interesting about Alex station is that it's actually woke, Hasan. You know how you say that there's not these cool CIA agents anymore? Well, Alex station, it was basically women who were like looked down upon were put in this station, right? Because they were like, give the women something to do, right? And then Jen Matthews got blown up on that fucking CIA base by fucking the Haqqani network and the TTV.
Is that a Zero Dark 30 movie?
Yeah, no. The lady in Zero Dark 30 is this woman.
Okay.
Who tortured Abu Zubaydah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's literally her.
Okay.
So
because I knew there was a connection. I wasn't sure which one she was. Okay, that makes sense. The one that Jessica Chastain plays.
Yeah. Well, then the other lady, Jen Matthews, she gets blown the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because they were stupid. They were so stupid. Breaking.
I don't know how Guantanamo is still open.
It shouldn't be.
The
reason it's still open is because there's certain guys, two being very specific, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, which is like if anyone deserved to be in Guantanamo, it's him. That doesn't, but we still have a prison in Colorado. Just fucking put him there, or just kill him at this point. Who gives a fuck? And then Abu Zubaydah, they've come forward and say that he never had any fucking importance.
Epic. So release him. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, they can't because of what they've done to him.
It would be admitting fault, and they would have to face repercussions.
We only have like some of the Red Cross reports. So like, Ali Soufan witnessed this, right? So they had the FBI. He was there for the FBI because he was like the only Muslim, and the CIA didn't have Muslim people basically.
Oh my god!
So Ali Soufan, he worked in the Lebanon War, so he understands the Quran and Islam and all these things, and he called the FBI and said, "I'm going to arrest these people."
Holy shit!
Because they were torturing this guy, and they took him right off the case.
Of course they did.
Anyway, check out this Idlibi KFC.
How the fuck is it still open?
This is a fake KFC in Idlib. They're just muted because of the music and stuff.
Yeah. That looks fucking great. I'd eat there.
Like they have a little bounce house even for kids. That's good.
That's so funny. I'd eat there. That looks great.
This is apparently like a Sharia run al-Qaeda zone, right?
Okay. Doesn't look like it.
Exactly. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, it's run by HTS. HTS is in control. Okay, buddy. This guy's
That's
just
so
being
funny.
جهز أحدث التجهيزات
You know how much money this place probably makes too? Because like
probably
they
make
can't
so
get
much.
KFCs into this place because they won't get insured.
They won't what? Insured.
They won't insure them.
Ah, right. And that's why they don't.
I would assume that's probably also because they're banned in Syria because of this. And this counts as Syria on the UN stage.
Okay. Because of sanctions. Yeah.
This girl's just staring directly at the camera. Oh, she might be special needs.
Possibly.
You see how he's like helping her eat and stuff?
Yeah.
She might be fucked up from. Oh, look at these guys. Oh, it looks like they were like raising money. Those are the terrorists right
AQ controlled, right?
I mean, I mean, the supposed like more so in the past, but really, like the HTS kicked out all the al-Qaeda guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's
So, like,
HTS?
that's like what Jelani's in charge of. It's the Free Syrian Army's like intelligence, like elite corps. They're terrorists.
Sure. To the Syrian government.
The Americans too.
Okay.
There's a interview where they I highly recommend people want to stand bin Laden and all this shit. Highly recommend looking up some interviews with the head of HTS. His motivations and the reasons why he does things. It's very interesting. He also fought the Americans in Iraq. A lot of guys I've met in Syria did.
Cool. In Chile in 1973, I thought I watched a Johnny Harris video that said that it glanced over that. Interesting.
Oh, God.
Johnny doesn't think that that's a coup. Am I misremembering? Speaking of Chile, and also Salvador Allende, Pedro Pascal's sister, follows me on Instagram. I followed her back. Please, I would love to have you and your brother on the stream at some point. Please come on the broadcast, both of you.
Please, Hasan. Please.
Is coordinated with Kissinger's office.
Thank you. Nice to see you all. Mind control experiments. MK Ultra.
In 1950, the CIA launches a massive program to develop.
Oh, he was introduced as a reporter, not ex-CIA. What are you getting at?
Yeah.
You're right. We were making.
It's Haraz al-Din. Haraz al-Din is the al-Qaeda branch in Syria now.
Yeah.
So they were forced out.
Controlling people's minds on 40
HTS.
Okay.
Still says they're allies with them. Which is funny because on HTS's page it says they're opponents.
Oh, that's funny.
Academic institutions were involved in this kind of
LSD
research.
to people without their permission.
Can we develop a truth serum, dosing somebody with LSD 60 times in a week? NSA's Operation Shamrock, electronic surveillance, 1945 to 1975. The first warrantless wiretap.
God, Bay of Pigs, nightmare.
There were hundreds of CIA assassination plots.
Operation Phoenix.
Eventually, Bill Colby, who was later director, admitted that they had killed 20,000 people.
Operation Mockingbird,
COINTELPRO,
Operation Chaos, Watergate, Jim Critchfield, Frank Wiesner, James Angleton, Roosevelt, Don Corey.
CIA coup in Indonesia, CIA coup in Greece, CIA involvement.
Something like that. They formed in 2018, so like they like that. That might have been after they were pushed out or something. But yeah, I don't think I was around for it. It's hard to even remember half the shit.
Machine of intelligence that is doing a lot of secret things all around the world. They start blackmailing lawmakers to scare them away from investigating them and reining them in.
These agencies had harmful personal information on lots of people. When I was doing my Angleton book, a guy told me one day when he went to meet Angleton quoted back to him what he had said to his wife in bed the night before. And so they had this capacity, and people knew.
And they did this to MLK with the FBI.
J. Edgar Hoover had information about his affairs with various
Hoover
women. This kind of knowledge that they had, Angleton and Hoover were masters at using those kind of secrets as leverage. Kennedy had this thing hanging over his head.
Damn, dude.
Can you imagine if politics was as fucking ridiculous as it is now as it was back then? All the investigations they're doing on Biden and shit. Can you imagine if they did that type of shit to Kennedy?
Imagine how we're going to look back at this time. It's going to be a joke.
Where's the big bad? Hold on. Johnny, it ain't so. Can you tell me why all of this is actually ultimately for good to prevail over evil, please? I assume that we're not the bad guys here, right? I mean, it's just like, just say that like we don't do that anymore or something.
And he knew Hoover, had that on him, and so he couldn't fire Hoover.
And so much of this power is concentrated among just a few people, many of them not elected, and many of them living right here along these streets in this neighborhood of Georgetown, living in fancy homes, having fancy cocktail parties, and kind of running the Western world. It's exactly the nightmare of the founders of the country and the nightmare of President Truman.
And 1 month after the assassination of President Kennedy, Harry Truman publishes an article in the Washington Post and says the CIA should be abolished.
Wow.
And he says it has cast a shadow on the historical reputation of the United States.
The man who signed the piece of paper that created the CIA comes out.
It's like I do this all the time, especially about Guantanamo. It continues the legacy that we've had of like putting people into shackles against their will, right? So it's like you have slaves, you had then have World War II with the camps. Like, when are we going to stop? Like, and now it's like you support apartheid, you support apartheid, you support apartheid, you support apartheid. When is it going to stop? Talk about how like we have the best values in the world and shit.
Yeah.
Like, if countries like were like actually stabilized, right? There's so many like other countries that would be like have so much better values than actually had a democracy and like stability on the level of like some of these Western states.
Yeah, it'd be so good. Imagine if Ghana had that level.
Well, considering they just banned gay people.
Yeah, well, not anymore, right?
Ghana's just got has good economics for the region.
Yeah.
And says he regrets it.
can be
Eventually, Americans
silly
start to get savvy to the
sometimes.
fact that their government is sort of going off the rails. As this war in Vietnam drags on, more and more Americans stand up and say enough, demanding accountability for.
I'm not gonna lie. So far, this is the most like maybe Johnny is not CIA video I've ever watched.
Jesus Christ.
That's the only take I have on it. He is destroying the CIA allegations right now. Has to keep his cover. No, man. I think something changed. I think Johnny got that dog in him. Okay, he started wearing the singular choker. I think I'm telling you, man. Maybe his contract ran out.
I don't know. I think that maybe
what's going on.
I think this is always what he's done, right? Because I don't know.
We say this every time that he talks about he works for CIA. We're like, he always makes videos on both sides all the time. What the fuck are you talking about? Sometimes they're not even related. It's about Subway in Korea. Like the fuck.
I don't remember that one.
Communists have to be behind this. And so they start infiltrating the anti-war movement. And they come back in about a year and they say, well, you know, Moscow and the North Vietnamese, they really like this anti-war movement, but it's not controlled by them. It's not.
By the way, this is literally a direct parallel to the pro-Palestinian movement on their own because things have communist plot. Wait, does it imply that you move on?
Distance for 7 years. Every time they were asked to report on it, they came back and said, it's not foreign controlled and it's not foreign funded, which was obvious to anybody who was involved in the anti-war movement. There were a lot of people inside the CIA saying, you know,
not anymore.
Johnny Harris is making a product at the end of the day.
Yes.
It's like I wouldn't draw his values from these things. Like, look at him sucking Joe Rogan's dick just to get on the show.
Yeah.
It makes me say anything about the internet. I mean, it goes back and forth, but there's times like, you know, like Vietnam turned out okay after, even though all that shit like went down there. Like, it's not like a great country. It's very authoritarian. It's just like, but then it's like you have China. China was on such a great track, and then boom, new leader comes in. Like, even Russia, you know, you had the alcoholic in charge. He was too drunk to do his job, so Putin took over.
Now look what's happening.
I think we'll see how, like, when we start moving into these more autonomous split systems and stuff like that, we'll see what happens and how violent that era becomes.
Basically, you know, they're going to the demonstrations and we're reading the reports at night. We shouldn't be doing that.
Are we trying to exterminate an entire people? What if we become as a nation?
Americans were waking up to the fact that these unelected men were wielding way too much power and spying not only on the entire world,
so are
but on Americans themselves.
So are businesses.
We have been victimized by excessive secrecy.
Where's Hasan going? Capitalism does this too. Come on.
Surveillance over intelligence activities, but also
oh god,
excessive secrecy has created this kind of mischief within the executive
This is a
branch.
psyop. This is a psyop. I'm pretty sure. If it's the video I'm thinking of, it's one. I believe it's a psyop. 100%. I believe they literally did this to scare Russians.
Interesting.
Church committee, dude. Oh my God, it's Jover. This is a real vibe shift, dude. That's why he's wearing the pearls. I'm telling you.
Church helped lead the charge of taking all of these secrets and excesses and thrusting them onto the national stage and shining a light on them.
There has never been a full public accounting of FBI domestic intelligence operations.
The American people are learning for the first time just how bad this was. 800 witnesses, 10,000 documents. Their secrets were shared. CIA, FBI, NSA.
There it is.
Assassination plot.
There it is. That's
the
there
heart
it is.
attack gun?
Psyop, bro. Psyop.
Almost. The heart attack gun.
Yeah, people believe
Hilarious.
that shit still exists, right? You know what?
So
you know
funny.
what? Guess what? Never existed. It's a fake fucking gun. It's a real gun. They just put a scope on it and say it fires a dart. They lied. Half of this meeting was lies. They went into lie to scare you. They made it to scare the communists in this country and elsewhere. It was a psyop.
Didn't they say that they fucking did it to multiple different people? And it's like,
no.
they
said that it's a prototype, not that it exists. They never say that it actually exists here. I
It
don't
just
think.
looks like a
They say
1911 with a shitty scope on it.
It is.
Yeah.
Like episode 1 of Mythbusters, they test this gun
That's so funny.
and see if it's even possible. So, do you know why they made the gun though? Because that's funny. You
No,
watch Breaking Bad?
no, I don't know why.
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
NSA, assassination.
So you know how they talk about the
YouTube.
ricin umbrella in that? and that's when they decided to start making. That was the ricin umbrella.
Okay.
That was a Soviet.
Hilarious.
So they said if the Soviets can kill somebody just by walking up with a prick, then we should be able to kill them from far away.
Plots.
Does this?
Maybe it's not 1911. It's definitely maybe a SIG.
Pistol fire the dart? Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman. When it fires silently? Almost silently, yes.
Well, I mean, I'm a big time like good vibes person. Like sometimes the thing is that it's when there's isolated pockets of chaos, and then mostly everyone is doing fine around.
Yeah,
that.
pretty much.
But
so the chaos pockets are pretty bad.
Certain ones, yeah. So and technically, there's like more conflicts going on now than any time else, in like since 1970 or something. But like when we're counting these conflicts, it's like 2 Kurds died in Iran, and that are part of a organization that's fighting Iran. That's technically its own conflict. I mean, people didn't know that type of shit back then. Like I said, I think this is just to have the Russians be like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I think it's a 1911. It kind of looks like it, like the barrel and the grip kind of look like it, but when they were showing it to the side profile, it doesn't really look like one. It could be. It kind of looks like a SIG barrel a little bit, but it's hard to tell.
A comprehensive listing of everything those people thought or did on any subject you can imagine they're having a concern with.
Targeting people like Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights or feminist activists.
Bureau agents were told to attack the New Left by disinformation and misinformation.
Anti-war protesters were spied on. Intimidated.
COINTELPRO is the name for the effort by the Bureau.
Literally, the New Left.
Destroy organizations.
Hasan, why did you pick up on that?
Yeah, he completely missed it. What the fuck? He also missed misinformation, disinformation. The fuck?
Use the words disrupt and neutralize.
To be fair, no need for that no more. You know what I'm saying? Every one of us got that dog in him now. We don't need
Stop
these,
reading
like,
chat.
deliberate
You're
programs
missing
to
so
disrupt
much
and destroy.
important
I think
leftist
you have
content
enough of it.
here.
People do it for free.
You
People literally
could have just
operate like
had a
little
whole
DC
lesson
wonks.
on what the New Left was and how their impact was.
A doofus.
There it is.
Bro, I do not understand it. It like hurts my brain.
On Twitter for free. It's awesome.
The Bureau went so far.
Yeah, they're taking the CIA.
I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real place.
You are one of them. Yes, I am famously very disruptive of solidarity. Why? Because I said you can't have a general strike on Reddit. You know.
Why? Because you completely miss points because you'd rather read chat than listen to the fucking video and give actual content to people.
Oh.
But
wait, I'm famously disruptive of solidarity because I said trying to
shut the fuck up.
The Vanguard's coming from Reddit, folks.
Is to mail anonymous letters to Dr. King and his wife. King, there's only one thing left for you to do. You know what it is. You have just 34 days in which to do it. You are done.
That was taken by Dr. King to mean a suggestion for suicide, was it not?
That's our understanding, Senator.
The CIA's LSD mind control experiments were also detailed to the public.
One of the first things they come across is the MK Ultra papers.
And so were the FBI and CIA's attempts to infiltrate the free press, planting journalists within our newspapers. We would later learn in some investigative reporting that this infiltration of the free press was much more widespread than church.
To be honest, once again, this also doesn't exist anymore, in my opinion, or doesn't have to exist, rather, where we very directly and very openly behave as though we are on the CIA payroll through what is known as access journalism.
Hey, it's like us.
I think the closest you can get to Operation Mockingbird nowadays is like a Tucker Carlson type.
Yeah, that gun also might not have been a functional gun. It might have been a toy because it was like a prototype.
Yeah.
There's like they show multiple guns in that meeting.
Oh, okay.
Ultimately, everyone else is already.
Well, I said that one
State
fires
Department's bottom line. They're already defending the State Department. Most recent Israel piece in the New York Times. Everything written in the New York Times about Israel is directly. They might as well have a dude working on the State Department payroll, typing out every letter straight up.
Church even discovered.
He reported that up to 400 journalists had been paid by the CIA under Operation Mockingbird, and there's no doubt that it was a massive effort and effective.
The Church Committee made a few things clear. Number one, that indeed a group of unelected government employees used immense power and resources of the United States government to pursue programs that were illegal, unethical, and generally out of line with American values and norms. And they did it
No way.
And who got arrested?
Partly because the U.S. Congress wanted to give them money and turn a blind eye.
I can recall members of Congress who recoiled from responsibility of knowing what was happening. Members of Congress who said, "Don't tell me, I don't want to know."
Aaron?
I think that is an indictment of the Congress just as severe as any indictment which is labeled against any of the intelligence community.
When Dulles wanted to get approval for the CIA budget, all he had to do was take a top line number to the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and he would say, this is what we want for this year. And the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee would say, okay, that's what you've got. And please don't tell us anything about what you're doing with it. And so there was no internal challenge to this world of CIA people.
But here's the other thing that is so crucial here, which is that when you listen to these hearings, you see people who thought they were doing the right thing, who thought that they were doing what they needed to protect the country. During
come on.
Yeah, they said the same thing about torture.
Saying that when the president does it,
for sure.
that
When I was,
means
training
it's not
Nicaraguan death
illegal.
squads, okay, I was thinking I was defending American interests. Unless he means like American interests is
They
almost
literally
identical
said
to
this.
key to
They
capitalist
literally
interests,
said
the interest of
this
serving
about torture
capitalism
and
but
black
that's-
sites. Literally said this. This is their excuse every time. Oh, by the way, fuck John Rizzo.
Why you send me news?
Huh? I'm just sending clips because I was doing something and now I'm going back to like making sure I always am sending clips and stuff.
Did Rizzo turn up?
Huh?
Did Rizzo
Oh
turn up?
no, John Gizzo? No, not that guy. I meant John
No.
Rizzo. The John Rizzo is the fucking guy. He's Palpatine.
Oh,
He made the torture program possible.
right.
He's their lawyer.
That's crazy.
Gotcha.
Bro folded under no pressure. Yes, dude. How are you gonna do 24 minutes of this and then what?
30-year period, all of a sudden you woke up one morning and here was this creature that had been created that no one along the line had ever
This
really
is like
contemplated.
such old
Each of
news,
these
bro.
steps
Like
has been
knowing about
honest.
a CIA hearing that happened back then. This is like such like a millennial type thing. It's like, did you know in the 70s there was a big government hearing? Yes. Bro, next Johnny Harris is about to learn about MK Ultra and he's gonna fall down a rabbit hole and just get totally QAnon brain to watch.
I would love that to happen. That would be great. His next video, Q is real.
Of accountability.
No, man. A lot of them. Well, first of all, a lot of them were Mormon. Some of them were also deeply racist and Mormon. These guys were ideologically minded, very much so. Okay, it's not like this is a secret either. Like, dig a little bit deeper. Okay, yeah. Like some of them very openly talked about it. Like Gordon Liddy is a great example. Just an insane person. Okay. It's just so funny to be like, oh man, like what was happening? No, they were literally straight up fascists, straight up anti-communist, which is, usually aligned there perfectly ideologically, and straight up white supremacists.
Oh my god, I fucking hate these people. Guess what, Hasan? You can be anti-communist and anti-fascist at the same time. It's pretty crazy. It's almost like you can hold 2 points of view at the same time. It's
And
called
you can also be
anti-authoritarianism.
anti-liberal at the same
Yes.
time.
You can be anti-liberal,
All you
anti-conservative.
guys do is talk shit about everything.
You can be anti-socialist. You can be anti-capitalist.
You know what I don't
know?
talk shit about, even though I don't like anyone involved there, is Barcelona autonomous movements.
It's actually possible to hold seemingly contradictory points of view. It's
The
called
Republicans do it all the time.
being a fucking adult, you clown, and not being a direction-brained moron. Fucking, you gotta be left wing or you right wing. You can't be any else.
Yeah, well,
It has
see,
to be one.
he can
Pick
only
a side.
he can only do like the Venn diagram, right? Instead of like multiple dialectical analysis of multiple planes across different dialectics to form structures and opinions.
Yeah. It's just
Which is, like I said, you got to start with Hegel before you go to Marx. If you don't understand like a full understanding of dialectics, this is what happens to you.
Two, they love capitalism.
This is what down the line looks like.
Hated communism, and were openly, literally Nazis sometimes, like straight up, literally Nazis. Gordon Liddy is a great example of a person who was an out and about literal white supremacist Nazi.
Not in the Soviet Union, though.
Even within the deep state, there are
not even
people
once.
who are doing things for altruistic and good reasons, and then there are people who are doing things for their own selfish or bad reasons. And exactly how many
there is a lot
are in
of
each category
good guys in the
sort of
CIA as
impossible
well.
to-
I have to say, like a lot of the guys who actually worked on the ground with the Afghan Mujahideen are pretty good guys, and they talk about how Brzezinski basically ruined everything. Like that the state getting involved was like the worst thing that could have possibly happened. And he fucked up the whole operation and like made Afghanistan burn because of it.
Stupid keyboard. Stop.
He's selling his fan the
Well, I didn't know
corporate
Yeah,
version of
they told MLK
leftism.
to kill himself
True.
because they really wanted to stop adultery. It was a higher cause. Yeah, they were like, listen, we're going to tell everybody that you're doing adultery. Please kill yourself kindly. Why? Because we believe you are legitimately doing adultery. And we hate
You also have to
that.
think
Not
about
don't
this,
worry
like
about
besides the
civil rights movement. We
fascist,
don't care
right?
about that. We don't
These
like that either.
people, like I said, fucking the guy who was in charge of finding Bin Laden is now a QAnoner. I don't know if he still is, but he did. His site basically became all QAnon shit, right? So if that's the caliber of guys, and we can like, there's another guy in the CIA that he's on all these like manosphere podcasts, and I heard him talk about like Ukraine and some shit, and I'm like, this guy's fucking stupid. You know the George Carlin joke?
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
he's like, this guy is fucking stupid.
There, but the other thing,
better, and where many other more intelligent, sophisticated people got stuck in
there ain't no way he's gonna turn this into like a few bad apples in the CIA shit, right?
other areas.
So after the church committee, all kinds of new oversight regulations come in. There's new committees
No, we
formed,
didn't
there's new
have that
regulations.
back
and
then. That came from
intelligence
the few
community
bad
now
apples
finally
comes
has some
from
kind
the
of oversight.
argument
The deep state
of
was reined in. They did fight back.
Abu Ghraib incidents. So the guy who did the Stanford prison experiment, he's the one who presented this theory, right? And it's like, it's not the apple, it's the barrel, right?
Okay.
So it's not just a few bad apples. He blamed basically as the higher structure who put these people in this place. You know, the barrel produced these bad apples. It was a bad apple barrel to begin with, or a bad tree to begin with. And this is based off of a flawed, disproven, unable to be recreated prison experiment, right? And it basically, all he did was help get these people who did horrific things to human beings get off with light sentences. All of them are free now. Only one of them has actually apologized for what they did, and it's the one who had autism.
Church was undermined and
no, the bad apples were eliminated and the deep state was totally reined in.
Intimidated by these agencies.
CIA people, I mean, they hated Frank Church. Jim Angleton would go around and say Frank Church was a KGB agent. Dick Helms raged against him. Kissinger, they couldn't believe that U.S. intelligence was being opened up. On the other hand, Americans were like, oh my God, this is what was being done in our name.
But overall,
what was Kissinger's role?
Oh, he was just an admin bitch, right? But he was like a foreign policy guy, but very, very like he wasn't as he's definitely killed more people than Brzezinski, but as far as like politics wise, he wasn't as unhinged as Brzezinski.
Okay.
Like Brzezinski is like, I must kill all communists. I mean, he's Polish. What did you expect, you know? But I'll look up like some of the history of the positions he had.
This is a story of American democracy doing what it's supposed to do, rein in the worst impulses of humans with power, and in the process, avoiding disaster. At least.
No, dude, no, bro. What? Wait, what?
Okay, so
did he just say we reined it in? Dude, that's crazy. This is like a meme.
He starts in with Nixon, basically, right?
Okay.
And then he was the national security advisor to the Secretary of State for Nixon. And then he eventually moves up to Secretary of State, I think, under Reagan. But he stayed in the... oh, dude, check out this picture. You're going to love this. He stayed in the admin, like the Republican admin, just like how Bush did to get to the top. That's why they were like nervous about Petraeus, right? Because like...
Yeah.
They wanted intelligence guys to stop getting into the government. Check out this. Henry Kissinger and Mao.
Oh my God. What a great photo.
Oh my God. No. So George H.W. Bush was the ambassador. Henry Kissinger was. Here's him talking about Taiwan. I'm just like skimming a wiki. Like, just give me his work history. I want his fucking resume. Bangladesh Liberation Word.
Got something?
No, but I'm just reading. Kissinger described the Ba'athist regime in Iraq as a potential threat to the United States and believed that building up Iran and supporting the Peshmerga was the best counterweight.
Huh.
Turkish invasion of Cyprus. Was he pro this? Let's see here. I'm not reading all that. Latin American policy. Intervention in Chile. Yeah, go ahead. You were just asking, so.
Yeah, he's I think he was directly involved with the Chile one.
Yeah. No, he's
this is the meme, which is like all the instances that were
Vietnam.
Bad in the past,
No, it was Laos, wasn't it?
Gone.
Both.
With
He was responsible
we
for
learned from.
both of them.
Epic for a few decades.
Fuck that guy.
Never mind.
Glad he's dead.
Okay.
The leader of the single most powerful nation in the world.
Okay.
Any guiding principles for exercising this enormous power?
When it comes to foreign policy, that'll be my guiding question.
Okay, he
Is it
left
in our
office
nation's
when
interests?
he left
Peace in the Middle
office
East is in our
as
nation's interests.
Secretary of State
And
when
the
Jimmy
hemisphere
Carter
is,
beat Ford, I guess.
Okay.
Some very, very sketchy details reaching us here at Sky Central.
It's kind of crazy because like there's
So
he just skipped this step.
Brzezinski is
We did not rein in
second
the
messenger.
CIA. Still, for the record, there was no point like between 1975 and like 2001 where the CIA was not in operation. It was very much still not reined in. So I don't know why he would. And for the record, it still could go along with this overall narrative of like, oh well, we learned from our mistakes. Like,
Okay.
you could say Iran Contra and be like, that actually was bad because that's something.
I'm bored. I don't need a history lesson. YouTube's breaking.
Oh, they're literally. I could have looked at the top and saw. I'm dumb. I don't know how to use Wikipedia. Yeah, he was
in our
born in
nation's
Germany.
interests. Having a hemisphere that is free for trade.
Bro, he was stateless. It was stateless from 1935 to 1943. Badass.
What was that?
Kissinger was
Stateless. Oh, stateless. Okay.
Some very, very sketchy details reaching us here at Sky
And he
Central.
was in the army. Battle of the Bulge.
A new threat.
Elon deleted the Stone Cost Twitter thread.
I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real place.
Oh, here we
Desire,
go.
you know, we've been attacked. Anything goes. We have to strike back. This is an existential struggle, and that same ethos of the early Cold War.
You know what I've noticed? He hasn't gotten up and left.
Anything
Yeah,
goes.
Johnny Harris
That
is normally
returns
the ones that he
big time
just
after
thinks he can
9/11.
eat and like
the CIA
leave
seeks or
open.
asserts without being checked all sorts of powers that they hadn't asserted before. They implement the torture program. They massively expand the warrantless wire.
No, we always had a torture program. We implemented
Not
a direct
true.
torture
No,
program. And
no,
gave legal
Hasan,
clearance
no.
for torture directly in the hands of
No,
the American
no,
military and American
No,
State
it's
Department
not the
agencies.
same,
That's
Hassan.
we never stopped doing the torture.
You don't
It's just that
understand.
we would
You
usually
don't
train people to
understand
do
how
torture.
next level the shit that happened here was. Okay? You don't understand. It's just not the same.
You have no idea what you're talking about. It's just so embarrassing. At least have some humility.
For us, now we were just doing the torture ourselves directly.
What's this other one?
Like
Also
the way,
not true.
like
Also
those
not
get
true.
drawn
We
in
were
porn.
still
They're all like
exporting it at the time,
thick short
too.
stacks.
We were exporting torture at the time too. That was one of the issues. Put a fucking drill through Abu Zubaydah's leg. He was an innocent man, right? But like that, like who? That's the thing. Is just like when we cracked down on that torture being done by the CIA, who do we think took it over, bro?
Yeah.
Do you fucking know about like fucking General Dostum, right? In the beginning of the war, working with the CIA, he put a bunch of prisoners in shipping containers. All of them died.
Jesus. In shipping
Yeah.
containers.
Yeah,
Okay.
they fucking just basically that's how he was shipping the prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Tortured the fuck out of people. Knew this too. Knew how bad this guy was.
And these people had no repercussions.
Dostum, he's still free to this day.
That's great.
He's one of the people that people turn to as someone who might overthrow the Taliban.
Lady Justice, right?
Literally, the Taliban is just about the only dick he hasn't sucked. Anytime he's about to be on a losing side, he turns. He's
Yeah,
such
what
a
a-
piece of shit.
what
He's
a
one of the
coward.
worst humans on earth. He
Someone should do
fucking
something about
had
it.
his men like rape a tribal elder.
Oh, cool.
And after that, he had to be sent to Turkey because of war crimes. And Turkey sheltered him.
Ah, great. Thanks, Turkey. Another Turkey W. Glad you guys changed your name. That really helped.
Techniques are revived and expanded after 9/11.
Constitutionally protected
level, on a very large scale.
Taxpayers funneling money into millions of new top secret jobs. 22 Capitol buildings worth of new office space that spring up all around this area where I live to house all these new secrets. And inside them, waterfalls of new programs, so many weirdly named programs that no one leader could ever hear about, let alone regulate all of them.
There's not a whole lot of effective oversight
Their
on something
codes.
that has grown so
You need
big and so bushy.
all you need is you need to code. You need to know how to decrypt them on the code, right? So like MK is just like the letters of like it's like a specific type of code, and the code is constantly shifting and changing, but all the letters mean something, and it ends up being really simple once you know what the code is.
Of which
plus,
should be known
plus
to the
there
public,
is
that
I think
until
there is
someone
like direct congressional oversight of the CIA now.
I think so, yeah. I think
And
they
also
ran that
like
in.
you look at the CIA after 9/11, that's the time when they had the most power. We basically said unlimited power, just make the attacks stop. After we gave this power to the people who literally just failed us and caused 9/11.
Crazy, right? Insane.
I wonder why we got into an immediate war from the intelligence they gave us right after that.
who's worried that history is repeating itself.
Fake intelligence too.
Yeah, that was obtained through torture in Egypt.
Yep. Fantastic. Great. Thanks, intelligence.
Decides
Bad intelligence.
Breaking news this evening is the identity of the man who sent the Obama administration into defend and explain mode this week. His name is Edward Snowden. He's an American former CIA employee and computer technician. Today he came out as the leaker of classified NSA documents that spell out these secrets.
And we all kind of wonder, what if we actually need this now? What if we need all these dark windows and
we don't
top secret PowerPoint decks where they design how they're going to spy on us? What if our safety relies on what happens inside of all these buildings?
It doesn't.
So we keep funding them. But in doing so, we must at least acknowledge what we're doing here. We are trading a portion of our freedom.
You would be safer if it didn't exist. That's just fundamentally
and also
true.
we can have military, like the useful parts of the CIA can just be spun off into like military intelligence and have direct oversight.
Yep. And I would hesitate to say that America is probably the source of intelligence agencies existing right now. Like internal intelligence, probably not, but definitely spy agencies and shit like that definitely has something to do with it. Like I know that Europe had their spy agencies and shit because of the crowns and whatnot, but it's like this is another level of spying. I think the whole nother can of fish.
What? Our safety relies on this? Safety from what? We are the one who knocks, man. What the fuck? Yeah, our safety. You know what we need? More State Department agencies to defend us from the other homegrown threats that we have cultivated and created en masse.
Look for the specific thing in this interview.
In exchange for a sense of security, and in the process, we're
it's right at the
creating
beginning.
and feeding kind of a new branch of our government power, one that operates outside of this elegant triangle that the founders constructed to trip up the corrupting forces.
Yeah, we need like another CIA to defend us from the CIA. That's what we need. Seriously.
Run the risk of always possessing men with secret power.
Most everybody agrees.
This is such a funny video. He pulls out a picture. He pulls out a picture of Ashraf Ghani, the former president of Afghanistan, right? And this is right after that whole rape thing that I was talking about happened.
Or is this my friend's dad? Look, you have of my friend's dads. So I'm going to show you some photos. We're playing a game here.
Okay.
You have to tell me, is this a world leader?
Is that Trudeau?
Friend's dad. Look, world leader or my friend's dad?
See, it's Ashraf Ghani.
Yep.
I believe that might be a world leader.
That is correct. This is Ashraf Ghani, the president of Afghanistan. There we go.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I've
Just pausing, just because it is totally from Netflix.
met him a couple times.
Yeah.
He's a thoughtful guy.
Yeah. His government is currently in the midst of.
I know, moving me down so we can see the expressions on their faces for this last part.
I've met him a couple times. He's a thoughtful guy.
Yeah. His government is currently in the midst of a sexual harassment scandal. So.
Sexual harassment scandal, bro. That's how you're going to phrase it? Those are the hard-hitting questions you're going to hit Trudeau? He just said he's a thoughtful guy. Yeah, well, guess what his vice president just did?
Classification, there's way too much information that's classified, but information is power, And the fewer people that have it, the more power the people that do have it have.
And the result is that when the most powerful man in the world arrives to the most powerful...
Yeah, bro started the video by saying we were afraid of an American Gestapo and concluded the video by saying we kind of need the American Gestapo and like with no shred of irony. Like the entirety of this video was like, here's why we have the American Gestapo. Here's why it's bad. And then at the end of it, he's like, well, I guess basically he's trying to say, like, is this a valuable trade-off? Okay. That question is ridiculous. For those of you who are going to say, oh, well, you know, he's just asking a question. Like he's just he's allowing people to form their own opinions. And it's like, no, because the premise is faulty. At no point is this helping American democracy at all. Every step of the way, every single thing that he mentioned was helping some Americans, not you, not your parents,
He actually finds that he can't. He's not able to change much of it. Instead, he sits there and watches much of the things that he critiqued grow under his watch. The thing
yeah, like the top of the hour ad break going from 1 minute to 3 minutes long. You know what I mean? You watched it happen. And there was nothing you could do about it except subscribe for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. Here's the 3 minute ad break now.
Don't do that. Subscribe to us instead.
Hey, we only $1, $1. Make you holler. Get your name at the bottom. I'll write your name on my asshole.
Letters on each side. If you've got an O in the name, that'll be the O.
Right. Oh, well, it'll be like the Lord of the Rings. So like the Ring of Power, but it'll be your name on my asshole.
That he's supposed to control, he finds he doesn't have that much control over.
These targeted strikes.
All for $1.
Thoughtful guy. Yeah. Okay. Fuck him.
That'll happen. All for $1. Cheap real estate.
Fuck this guy. What's his name?
It's free real estate.
What is his name?
And just
secrets keep us safe, but secrets also degrade this delicate thing that we have called democracy and accountability. That is,
yeah, poor Obama. He just wanted to be a
just
podcast.
$1. You can cancel it right after, and your name still stays
basically
there.
The structure of the Chinese dynasty that based their government on checks and balances of different branches, and that basically spied on each other in order to no department got much power, and if they had a new department, would be created to limit the other, or a purge takes place to prune the corrupting system of government.
Until we save ourselves from their everlasting seductive pull.
The United States must not adopt the tactics of the enemy. Means are as important as ends.
It's crazy that like
ISIS makes it tempting to ignore.
You know
the
what?
wise
You know where
restraints that
Johnny
make them
Harris
great.
is truly failing here.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's truly failing here. Hopefully this is one of his two-parters. I swear to fuck, because like to focus on the CIA back in the fucking 70s when they had this huge hearing. We tortured people.
Yeah.
We implicated other countries in this shit. Like, come on, bro. What about now? Fuck the 70s. Fuck them. Who cares? I don't give a fuck what they did in the 70s.
Yeah.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?